I might have to adjust the mic settings if that's the thing. Let me know if I'm too loud or too quiet.
Okay, he can hear you.
We good? We're good. Okay.
Alright, I don't think anybody heard me when I read the donations.
I'm
so
not.
just gonna
Well,
read them.
Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we got two donations to read here. We got one donation from Mac858, just $5. No comment, but thank you regardless. And we have a donation from the Big Fong Balls, $5. This is for Takaze to print notes so he can play better. Just kidding. GG.
Alright, so if we're all good to go, we can stop watching the glorious story of Mega Man 6.
Who is this mysterious stranger? Why do I know him somehow?
Yeah, I know. And we'll just get into the run. Alright, in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so I am Ppotdot1, and this is Mega Man 6. Mega Man 6, obviously the 6th NES Mega Man game that was released. Released in 1993. And you may be wondering, what's the new things that they added to this particular Mega Man game to make it different from the previous ones? And the primary difference is that they changed how the slide mechanic works. So every time you end a slide, you come to a full stop, and you can't jump out of slides. So a lot of the run ends up being revolved around... Okay. Revolves around canceling your slide either with a turnaround input, so like if you're going right, you turn around by facing left, or you hit the A button again mid-slide while you have down release, and that stops your slide mid-slide so that you can hit A again to jump out of it. There's a lot of, like, maneuvering of your movement to get it to be as smooth as possible, and that's where most of the tech in this game comes from. There's not a whole lot of, like, this game is very well programmed. You can just ask Baron Haynes in the chat, so that there's very few glitches that are even possible. Right, and I'm just doing the wind dance here. So every time you, for the wind fight, what I was doing back and forth slides. Every time you cancel your slide by turning around, it increases the, I'm gonna have to turn this off, I think. It increases the speed of your charge by one frame every time you turn around from a slide. And since you do that 9 times on Windman, you can get about a second back if you do them well enough. Flame is a very, very fun stage to do, actually. There's a lot of really unique and cool movement where you end up canceling a lot of slides short in order to get past the enemy. There. Roland be nice. Thank you, Roland. And the sort of gimmick for this stage is that all the oil pits in this stage can be lit on fire and become instant death. So you kind of want to avoid... You kill all the fire telly enemies that drop fire into the pits to avoid having the pits lit on fire. and that helps you go a little faster. Plus, it so I kind of slipped. Just gonna turn this off. And exit out. Okay. Alright, that should be a little better. Okay. So now that I kind of fell in there, the fire is, after you die, it's permanently lit on fire until you game over. So there's kind of have to watch out for that. So it's a little bit punishing to fall in. So there's a couple of different routes for this game. For a long time, people were doing flame first, because flame is just a really good weapon in this game. It does 4 damage to basically every enemy in the game. The Charge Buster, for reference, does 3 damage. And you can mash flames out, so you can have 4 of them out at the same time. Or 3 of them, excuse me, out at the same time. So basically you can mash out 12 damage on enemies very quickly, which lets you destroy mini-bosses relatively easily. But for a long time, Flame First was the route, and then it was sort of rediscovered that Wind First was actually the faster route. So basically from here on out, most people will be doing Wind First. Except for maybe Dark Terex, who pioneered the Night First route. It's a little bit more random, but it's still totally a plausible route. You get the the benefit of Night First is you have Knight's weapon for Windman stage, which makes it really simple. The downside is that Night First is a really random. Like, it's even more random than Flame First, where you kind of have to shoot underneath Nightman's shield with the Charge Buster. So here's the first example of flames. Those guys have like 16 health, so you just fire 4 shots in them very quickly. And they just go down. Okay, let's try to go for butter here. So you can get through that sub in 1 cycle if you're fast enough. It's a little tricky, and it's a little risky sliding over that pit. There's a potential for to fall into that pit. We kind of call that the margarine pit, because you can't believe it's not butter. That was for you, Bacon Cab, but it didn't work, so we're just gonna... how many flames do I have now? Should be 10. Alright, so you can skip by the bomb here. You have to get a really precise trick where it's random if the pixel that allows you to slide off of it shows up. But it is possible to get underneath the bomb there. It's called bomb skip. And that saves about 4 seconds over waiting for the bombs to explode naturally. And here's Blizzard Man. We just kind of hope he doesn't roll too much. You may be noticing I'm jumping up against the right wall, or trying to get to the right wall. In Mega Man 6, you want bosses to die in either of the corners. The right corner is a little better though, because if you run and jump against the right side, the right wall, for some reason it reduces lag a little bit, the lag of the explosion bubble. Alright.
Got a quick donation to read here for
Sure,
you.
go right ahead.
Cab. $55 saying, we'll get bomb skip next time, dang it.
Thanks, Cab. Alright, So plants is kind of a tricky stage. It's really difficult for a lot of new runners or casual players, just because the last screen can be a lot of pain. There's these platforms that are plants that you're supposed to open up with like a buster shot, but I will not be doing that. I will be staying on flame the whole time. You have, without opening them up, they give you a few frames to jump off of them before they kind of shove you off. So you have about 4 frames if you're not moving to jump off of them, or about 2 to 3 if you are moving while on them. And here we go. Press this one. And we're good. Alright. We're not totally out of it yet, though. These springs are still a little tricky. Alright, now we're out. So I kill the fish, because I felt like it. Alright, we'll try to get the 6-hit cycle in on Plant Man. You can sort of confuse Plant Man's AI when he does his run animation. Just barely missed the 6 hits. So when you're in the middle of the hitbox of a boss that has a run cycle, a running pattern, they kind of check to see where Mega Man is relative to them in order to determine how far that they run. And so if you're in the exact middle of the hitbox, it kind of confuses the AI where they don't know where you are, so they just go to their maximum distance run.
Well, now that makes the donation I just got here make a lot more sense. $5 from Ognadricker saying, your streamer win is 6-hit.
Streamer win is 6-hit cycle.
Also $5 from Dark T-Rex. I'll donate another 10 if you do the mini boss route in Yamato.
Okay, so more examples of how powerful Flame is here. This kind of goes through, it rips through everything. So whenever you have the chance to use it on any stages of mini boss, it just becomes insanely useful. So I kind of got my start running this game a couple of years ago, about 2.5 years ago. I was running 100% to start off, actually. There's beat letters that you can collect in each of the stages, and then the energy balancer, or not each, but each of the 4 warrior robot stages. And then the energy balancer is right behind that block there that I just passed by. Proto Man gives it to you. It's the only instance of Proto Man in this game. And then I swapped over to any percent in about April or May of 2014. Tomahawk Man is a little bit of a tricky fight for newer players because Plant Shield is a melee weapon, so you kind of have to get really close to him. And so that you can kind of take a lot of damage if you're not careful about it. And then the Buster fight, if you do die, is kind of tricky because he's pretty fast in how he moves around.
We just got another $5 from the Big Farm Balls.
Yo,
as promised for Bomb Skip. 5 more if you go back to Blizzard and do it again. Just kidding, don't do that.
Probably not. Especially since I'm only at 1 life right now. Alright, we're showing off the alternate way for DT, which means we're going to swap the flame. So here's the Yamato mini-boss. This is like the only regular enemy in the game with iframes. You can't mash into him to kill him. Which is why we swapped the flame there. You can't slide while in Pow Suit or in Jet, if that's so you kind of want to stay off of them as much as possible, unless you're doing a lot of things that involve exactly what they need. So like, this segment requires some Jet usage. We go the alternate path in Yamato because it's a little faster than normal route. Alright, here we go with the easiest boss in this game, second easiest boss in Classic Mega, Yamato Man. Don't hit like that DC. Nearly all of the robots in this game are locked into their AI, so they can only do their pattern twice before they're forced to swap patterns. So Yamato only has two patterns. So if he spins his, he has the spinning attack, and then he has the jumping. So if you see two of them in a row, then you know he's going to swap. Funny fact, Nightman is the only one that's not locked in that 2 and then switch AI. You can do whatever you want, as much as you want, and it doesn't jump around. Alright, coming up into the spike ceiling screen, not a wall, we'll call it a wall.
Somebody that just donated says otherwise.
It's a wall, or it's not a wall, it's a ceiling. It's a ceiling. Also, you can go ahead and read that.
Yeah, ClickSpark with $20 says, watch out for that spike wall.
The ceiling. After the spike ceiling, the stage is fairly straightforward. We'll come up into the coming up into my. It's the best enemy in this game. It's my favorite enemy. I affectionately refer to them as Mad Nerds. There we go. Be a Mad Nerd. Good last thing. Bounty. A lot of people call it the bouncy castle. There's a lot of bumpers that kind of bounce around. Alright, so we're hoping that Nightman does not jump a lot, because that is kind of low jump is okay. Nightman, please. Nightman, please. Thanks, Nightman. As Baron Hayes would call him, Sir Jumpington, because he just likes to jump around.
You think he'd be one of the guys that would jump around less, being all in heavy armor and stuff, but whatever.
I know, right? He's got all this heavy armor on him, so all he wants to do is jump with it. Alright, and so Centaur's level is the mandatory water stage of the game. Okay, you're fine. What? You're fine. Kinda had to abort on Miracle Jump, but we got the 2 frame boost complementary start. A lot of people will swap the knight earlier on in the stage to help them get through that screen in particular. The underwater game. It's about the same speed to use knight, or to swap the knight early. Or to stand up. Yeah.
Just got $30 from Cat again, saying good luck Ppot, but this tour's calling it a spike ceiling.
Yeah, also, that was the water ceiling room, but that's not a water wall. Water ceiling. And we're going to try to go for the ladder jump here in the next game. So, Wingman 6 ladders have a strange property where if you climb down them, first try. If you climb down them and release the ladder naturally, not hitting the A button, you have standing frames at the bottom of the ladder that you can jump off of. So you can kind of climb up the ladder a little bit faster that way. If you miss it one time, then it's not worth going for, but it's still pretty cool looking. The Centaur can teleport, or you can charge around if you want him to charge around. Each teleport is about 2 seconds long, but pretty good. So, a little history on the record holders of this run. Way back in 2012, there was a bounty put on this game on Speed Demo's archive, and the legendary Kiki rose up to claim the bounty, and he held the world record for about a year, I believe, before a couple of Japanese runners took it over. And then in early 2014, Ohan, the legendary runner Ohan, came and took the record there, and it stood at a 34:25 for quite a while, actually. I put some time into working on this game, and I took it from him about a year and a half later, I believe. And then I kind of invoked his wrath, and he came back 2 days later to take it back. But I did manage to take it back to him again, and then I pushed a little bit further, and I managed to get past the 34-minute mark. So the world record is now sitting at a 33:56. This is the only boss in the game that doesn't have iframes. You can kind of mash into him and kill him really fast. It's actually really interesting. I think it's because they treat both heads as regular enemies with their own health bars. But it just means that that's the fastest fight in the world.
Just got $10 from Dark T-Rex saying the 10 money is for the mini boss route.
Alright, X2 is fairly straightforward. There's these falling platforms that you don't have to worry about at all. You just kind of walk across them, talk to the guy. And then weapon routing in the in-game, once you reach the X stages, is actually really important. We need basically full tomahawk ammo for the last boss. So there's actually 5 bosses in the in-game that use the tomahawk, or I guess 3, but the last boss has 3. You kind of have to work around your weapon routing. There's fortunately 3 drops in the last 2 stages that let you refill, so it's not It ends up not being too big of a deal, but you do just kind of have to worry about your the last couple of stages. Power piston there. Kind of cool. Kind of have he goes up and down, and there's leftmost rocks that fall down, and you have to dodge those. The laggy fight. It goes by fairly fast if you manage to hit him, but he can kind of move out of your shot path. Careful about it. Alright. The next stage, aka the jet stage. Jet is used for most of this stage. So it ends up being one of the more boring runs for boring stages in the speedrun. So there's not a whole lot of like extra movement, but it can still be kind of tricky. The last screen in particular has a couple of enemies that you have to be careful about. Jet. We're fine. Move over the last golem type enemy. Swap the power suit so you can shoot punch through the doors. Due to the way that weapon routing is, this boss is beat to blizzards, but we won't be refilling blizzards in the end game. So the next best thing is to just punch him in the face. This boss's name is Ppotdot1, by the way. Power Suit fully charged punches on the in-game boss do 4 damage. For some reason on the robots it only does 2. So kind of odd.
I got a quick announcement to make. Yeah, so guys, with the couple of most recent donations, we are over halfway towards our total donation goal of the marathon.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you. Thanks for everybody that has donated so far. I'm looking forward to reach our final, our goal of $3,000 by the end of this, hopefully.
Alright, X4 is kind of a scary stage. There's a lot of short slides that I'm going for. And it's really easy to accidentally not cancel a slide and end up falling off the edge. But so far it's been alright. The last screen in particular, a lot of people have trouble with for a long time, just because all the platforms that you stand on basically have like spawning or these bird spawners on them. You kind of have to be really careful about when you take each of your damage boost. Much fun. Okay. We're gonna go for the new flame fight. Swag shot. Alright, everyone say it together now. Failed! F-A-I-L-D exclamation point.
Failed. What?
So,
it was Wiley all along.
It was Wiley the whole time! Can you believe it? Can you believe it was actually Wiley the whole time?
I don't know what to believe in anymore.
Alright, now we're at Wiley's second castle because he created a second castle for some reason. He decided that the ruse of Mr. X's castle was not quite enough. So he planned ahead of time and built a castle for himself as well. This stage is mostly falling. We're gonna go this ultimate path. It's a little bit faster, even though there's an extra pause there. It still saves a little bit of time to go this way. Because the other way you kind of have to fly around spikes and avoid a couple of enemies. So it ends up being a little bit faster. Mechasaurus. So for a long time we thought Mechasaurus' hitbox was totally random, whether or not you could hit him. But recently it was discovered that actually it's the spears that you fire that are the problem. Mechasaurus' hitbox is 3 pixels wide, and spears move at 4 pixels per frame. So it's entirely possible that if you shoot at the wrong location, that the spear will just go all the way through his hitbox and not hit him. It'll tink off the back of his head. Fortunately, we found out recently, so it's kind of a if you shoot from the wall setup, it ends up being basically 100% that you'll hit him there. I think we're a little low on points, so be really careful. We might have to swap early. Swap a little early. So wind is a really troll weapon. When you kill an enemy with it, it doesn't actually die. It just leaves the screen. So they still have hitboxes. You can still get damaged by an enemy while they're being lifted away by the wind's weapon. You kind of
they look like they're being pulled away by an invisible string.
Yeah. Right, here's the affectionately named Rolling Derp. We're gonna do this. Climb up on the right side of him. Alright, so this is the refight stage. It's a really short stage, there's just like a couple screens. The first screen is all underwater, and there's these fans that kind of pull you towards them. We actually use those to our advantage to help us move a little bit faster. So it helps speed up this first screen a bit. But we do have to be on jet for this next screen to get by these turrets and get the ladder. That's 7 seconds, so we're good. Now we go through the refights. Just hope that the luck that we get is pretty decent. I take a damage boost to get to the right side of Blizzard Man, because from the starting position, he's closer to the right wall. So the length of his roll when he does one is shorter. It cuts out about a second to be on the right side from if he does a roll that way. Over the longest. I don't have enough wind. Tomahawk refight. Jump start is good. So you want to avoid damage as much as possible, just because it takes time to collect the health that each robot drops. Centaur Flash. This is the only instance of Centaur Flash. Oh, I missed it. in the game. It hits the whole screen. So a lot of times people will count their shots off, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, each time they fire it off to make sure that they don't miss a shot on Wingman. Which unfortunately I did. But it's fine. If only I had counted. Exactly, Terrence. Alright, Nightman round 2. Please don't jump. That would have been okay if I would have just hit him with that too. Alright. Only one jump. Alright, second chance for 6-hit cycle. Yeah, we got it. And then I take the shot off the back. We got the 6 hits in the cycle. That's all I care about. And Yamato round 2. This will always be a jump. It'll be spun twice. Alright, and so we're coming into the last stage, the final Wily stage. You get to fight Wily. And fortunately, there's a Tomahawk refill right on the way down here. So we use 5 shots on this Met machine, which, since each form of Wily requires 7 shots, we have 2 extra. So we're allowed to miss 2 shots on Wily. And this is everyone's favorite final boss theme. Missed one. We're fine though. Alright, Capsule, where are you gonna be? Couple of troll locations. You know what? Get the time. Get the off-screen hit for swag. Alright, so that was Mega Man 6. What was the final time?
I'd have to see for myself since I don't have the splits in front of me.
I had to close out of mine to reduce a little bit of my computer lag.
Looks like it was 36-14.
36-14. That's all right. Couple deaths there. I went for bomb skip and failed, and I went for I went the alternate path in Yamato, so not too bad.
Yeah, you did. That was very cool of you to do so, and I'm sure many of the Mega Man fans in chat right now greatly appreciate it.
I certainly hope it was sub-legendary 3645.
We definitely saw a nice representation of the Mega Man community going on here today. And we're not done with Mega Man either. After the next run, Cab is going to be doing Mega Man 2.
Yeah, we got Cab doing Mega Man 2 and the run after the next one. And then later on tonight, we've got Feral Pigman doing Mega Man 3.
Yeah, so plenty of Mega Man going on tonight. It's a little sparsed out through, so you get to enjoy some other runs, but so you don't get mega burnt out.
Yeah.
But and then, to cool you off, to prepare you for Mega Man 2, we got Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels. One of the most notoriously difficult NES games, actually.
Yeah.
I could never beat that as a kid. Ever.
I never had it, so I didn't even know it existed for a long time. but having seen it, it looks very difficult, and it's also really fun looking. So everyone stick around, watch some of that, and hope you have a great rest of the marathon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're gonna run a quick 60-second ad and get the next run going hopefully soon. So please be patient.
Thanks again for having me in the marathon. That was fun.